So for TEKELA, we went back to the idea of amplified sensation this time. We wanted to create a multifunctional zonal boot that is data-driven.
So we think TEKELA 3 is really a giant shift for us, not only technically, but aesthetically as well. Think about the enigma, that genius player, that innovator, someone who thinks very differently about the game and who really wants amplified sensation.
We have 4 layers of stability. So the first one we talked about is the Kinetic Stitch. The second layer is the construction of the internal gore piece that is going to be able to adapt to every foot shape. The third one is we spend a lot of time selecting the right material for the contour and the foam in the heel to prevent the heel slip. And then the fourth layer that we have is with the sock liner and the InfiniGrip technology that prevent in-boot movement. Kinetic Stitch technology that we've used in V1 and V2. In V1, the idea was more around 360-degree stability. In V2, it was more about local stability. And what we've done in V3, we really wanted to create a complete new shift in how we use Kinetic Stitch. What we've done is, first of all, we've created a completely new visual with the introduction of this organic design language. And the second thing that we've done is we've introduced a third dimension with the introduction of a raised strike zone that you can see in color here. Talk about is the branding. This time we try to also push the branding a little bit further. Again, we retain the idea of New Balance performance with the classic N logo. And this time, again, we retain from the V1 and the V2 the New Balance lettering on the middle side. And those two are really made for maximum on-pitch visibility to create a really bold and confident football boot. Designing the TEKELA 3 was actually a really exciting design process because we've done things in a completely different way that we've done in the past. What we've done in TEKELA 3 and to create this organic visual is we were inspired by the forms of nature. And the forms of nature, actually, they're really random and they contrast a lot with geometric shape that you can find in any other boot on the market. But the challenge here was really to try to understand how can we design from those complicated shapes and how can we control them. So that was the first thing, and for that we created our own custom software that was able to replicate those forms of nature.
So what we're able to do is take that same player data where we had stress data, but also around striking data. So striking data, receipt, where the ball is in contact with the boot. Then we also looked outside of more geometric shapes that we'd done within TEKELA 1 and TEKELA 2. And we started to think about bio-inspiration, so more organic patterns that may be naturally occurring in the world. And we introduced a proprietary software technology that was able to take that naturally occurring bio-inspired organic patterning and the player data, and it created what we call reaction diffusion.
Trying to understand how are we going to give sense to a shape and how can we link it to the data that we collect for players. What we've done is actually you can see a different pattern for different zones of the boot, and all those patterns, they give you a different idea of the function that's behind it. For example, here you have a zone that's more like rounded shapes, and this is a zone that we use actually based on the data that we collected. It's more for passing and receiving the ball. Where you have actually the zone for striking the zone and shooting, kicking, curves. This is more like a line visual that we have used. And all that is basically created within a software that we built, and this is something that's really unique to the creation process.
We have an amazing partner with KAMO, and we think we've got a fantastic proposition to share. So when these come out, both Furon 6 and TEKELA 3, urge you, go to KAMO, come and try these boots because I'm sure you're going to enjoy them.